still one of the best three-point shooters on the planet. He proved that to the planet this afternoon.
Here with Duncan Robinson. After that performance, Doug, I mean, first of all, the victory, but your performance, 8 threes, that sets a new franchise record for the playoffs. I know you're going to be humble and say, hey, it's my teammates getting me open, but I mean, when you're feeling it like that, what is that like?
I mean, it's a good zone to be in, for sure. You know, when you get there, you got to take advantage of it, so just try to keep letting it fly. You know, like you said, my teammates do a really good job of putting me in situations to be successful, so I just try to let it fly, man.
I know that you've said that a lot, that you're going to let it fly whether you start, come off the bench, whatever the role, but not knowing how many minutes you're going to get, what stages of the game, how difficult is that to still be able to go out and have this type of performance?
Yeah, for sure. You know, like you said, you know, whatever my role is, basically my job stays the same. You know, they want me to be aggressive, they want me to fly off the screens and let it fly and put pressure on the defense. So, you know, for me, especially this time of year, it just simplifies everything, you know, just focus on doing what I can to help us win.
There was one moment where you had the three, you get fouled, you kind of stay with the arms open wide. At that moment, what are you thinking to yourself? Like, do you know in that moment, like, my God, I just can't seem to miss today?
No, I didn't know what to do. I don't celebrate a lot, so, you know, I felt like that one was one that maybe deserved some sort of celebration, so. You know, it was one of those moments I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I just left them up, you know?
You were like all of us. We were like, what the heck, man? This guy doesn't miss a shot. Now, I got to talk defense, too, because obviously that sets the tone of this game. Early on, you only had 23 points as a team in the first quarter, but the defense was just tenacious. What was it about the defense that, from start to finish, never let up?
You know, we were locked in, just flying around. That's when we're at our best. You know, we're still going to make mistakes, but guys just making aggressive mistakes, covering for each other, flying around. The coaching staff did a great job giving us a game plan. So for us, we just got to go out there, play hard, and just execute.
Listen, congrats on the record-breaking performance, and more importantly, the win. We'll see you in a couple days.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Robinson, what a performance tonight. All right, with Gabe Vincent here following this impressive win, and Gabe, for you, 8.7 assists, doing the things we normally see you do, but the things this team really was defensively, and you were a big part of that on Trae Young early. What was the game plan going in? Obviously aggressive on the ball, but how were you able to succeed with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's game one, so we're still kind of feeling each other out a little bit. We played each other throughout the season. But we just want to play hard, make things as difficult as possible for him, and try to make him miss shots. You know, he's a hell of a player, and we were able to execute that tonight.
There's so much about a game one and setting the tone. How much do you feel, though, even though you're right, it is just one game, you know, obviously he's a player who could explode at any moment, but how much do you think for you guys it sets the tone of what you can do in this series when you put that energy out there?
Yeah, I mean, we know what we're capable of, but every game is different. You know, game one is only game one, and game two will be an entirely different game. So we need to approach it that way and just be ready to come out and perform.
Gabe, I mentioned the stats for you, 8.7 assists. It's almost become just what you do. I mean, you come in, you facilitate, you shoot threes, but how comfortable are you as you've gone through this season of being a key rotation player that here you are in game one of the playoffs and you pick up right where you've been all season long?
Yeah, definitely comfortable. You know, obviously my teammates make it easy on me making shots and making sure I get open, making the other guys react, and I just try to make the right read every time.
Now, Duncan had the 8 threes. As a team, you guys were shooting it. What is it about this team when they get in that rhythm where the spacing is good and the movement is good that you guys just seem like you can't miss for stretches?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of guys that can put the ball in the hole, and especially from deep. And, you know, we can shoot it. We're a good shooting team, and that stuff's contagious.
Final question is, one game does not make a series, but obviously it's a good way to start. How do you keep this momentum going into game two?
Approach the next game like we're down 0-1 and come out here and play.
I like the sound of that. That's a man right there who's focused on the task at hand. One game does not win a series.
Spo, so much talk before game one was about just trying to slow down Trae. What did you like about the way you guys made it uncomfortable for him today with just a variety of, you know, different guys?
Yeah, you know, he is an electrifyingly unique player. He catches your attention. You know, so we probably had the benefit of watching him do what he can do. He's also done that to us. So you're a little bit on edge, and that's born out of respect, you know, for how capable he can be. You know, and to be fair, look, that is a quick turnaround, you know, to have a very emotional game like that on Friday night, and then all of a sudden you have a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. That, you know, we will take it. You know, but that is something, you know. But our guys really worked diligently this week, you know, just trying to get into shape, get into rhythm, like work hard to keep our edge. You know, the things that, you know, we've really built a lot of great habits, and we finished the regular season, you know, on the right note, just in terms of keeping that edge. And, this week we really went to work just to, sharpen that sword. But it's just one game, and our vets, experienced guys understand that each game is different. It doesn't matter how much you win by, the next game can be different.
Spill, you had said all week that PJ was letting you know he was going to be ready no matter what. How did you like just how he came back from the injury and everything he brought today?
Yeah, he's just such a winning player. He does so many intangibles. He's your best communicator. He brings this incredible toughness and intensity defensively. He was, like our linebacker, really just getting everybody to the right spots, and he holds everybody accountable. He's super unique too because he takes ownership, if he feels like he didn't do something right. And so that's why we all follow him. Whatever he says is the truth, because he does it both ways. He's not just barking at guys. He's also very introspective and vulnerable about his own game. But it was great to have him back out here. I think the week was really important for him. He was around the clock, in the training room, doing what needed to do. And even by the time we got to Wednesday, it was supposed to just be kind of a training room day and do some work on the side, but he forced his way into practice just for, some segments of it. It just shows you, how much he wants to be here for his guys and what he's willing to do behind the scenes to make sure he's physically ready.
Eric, we had seen, I think just last Friday, Caleb is sort of the tray stopper. You went away from that a little. Jimmy took the second assignment, obviously. What went into sort of that thought process to go this way with this rotation, put Jimmy on him a little more?
This is the way we went tonight, but look, we're so far past the 9-man rotation. That's what it was tonight. It's all hands on deck, whatever's required. Caleb is fully on our minds at any time. That's just the way it played out tonight. But he is, one of our most important players. So he'll have an impact at some point.
Eric, two things. I don't remember too many games at least, where we would see you even in defensive position at times on the sidelines if you were just like willing it yourself and some stretches.
Was that? I've really been trying to work on that.
You were. It was good. Palms up. It was.
That happened in a head coach's meeting like 5 years ago. I was on the court. They're showing such an old clip. I'm like, that happened a decade ago against OKC, where I guess I was out on the court. I've gotten a lot better than that. To show my progress,
you regressed maybe a little, but I guess just how. I mean, is that just a sign of just what it demands against not just that player, but against that team with that many shooters, just the intensity it takes?
You better be on edge. You have to be on edge. Not me, but out there, because that team can really score in bunches. Obviously, Trae Young can just ignite at any point. So if you relax at any point, all of a sudden he hits a couple that can turn into, a lot more. And you have to respect that. And our guys have that respect, but even with the respect, even with the urgency, even with being on edge, he's still capable. And that's why we'll have to just be ready, for game 2 and somehow just erase this memory, and keep that edge.
And one follow, the job Duncan did. I mean, he looked vintage again. Is that just a byproduct of a week of work and clearing his head, or did you guys have a sense that Duncan was getting close again?
Yeah, it's one of the things that I really disliked about making that decision, because I knew, like, on the outside, people would be jumping to a bunch of different conclusions. In my mind, Duncan was still going to be a major factor. I don't have to explain it. But he's had, like, some incredible moments, while nobody's paying attention or focusing on the wrong thing, about who's starting or who's not, like, rotate, like, whatever. I don't even care. But he's had those ignitable moments where he can just change a quarter, hits 1 or 2, then all of a sudden he feels like he hits 6. So I understand all the narratives out there. That's the tough part about this business. But Duncan is very steady, and he understands that even though he's coming off the bench, that he still has a major opportunity to impact the game, and he's able to do that tonight.
So I guess two things playing off that, having Duncan part of your program and prepping for the Hawks, and I guess you probably prep for different scenarios, not knowing who exactly the opponent was going to be. Did he ever play dummy Trey in practice?
Duncan, he can't do any of that stuff. No, he did not.
Okay.
Not even for a second.
Okay.
No, he does not have that kind of handle. Or, it's totally different players.
Sure.
But in his own regard, he's extremely ignitable and dangerous. He can generate a lot of offense for us, whether he's making shots or not. That's the part that nobody understands, but I don't really care to explain that. But you just try to work on, regardless of who your matchup is in the playoffs, you're going to be facing a great player that's going to require schemes, and you're going to have to be very disciplined. You're going to have to have a lot of reps with that, and that's what we just focused on this week. We knew it was going to be a great player and a great, potentially a great offense that you have to prepare for. This team can score. This is not indicative of who this team has been the last 2 months, and that's our veteran guys understand that. You got to put this behind us and get to work tomorrow with that same level of respect, knowing what this team can do.
I just had a question about one specific play. Lowry had a strip on Young at the three-point line extended, leads to a run out. Seemed like he had Hunter beat. He probably could have gotten a score himself, but he pitches it back for Strus for a dunk. Those type of plays, what can that do for a group that blatant unselfishness?
Yeah, Kyle is really he's driven that all year long. It's really inspiring when you see somebody like that. That's such a decorated, veteran, accomplished player, and he literally does not care about his stats. Neither does Jimmy. They could go, and score 10 points as long as we get the win. That's a cliche in this league that most players do not. They may say that, but that's not how they're thinking or how they're operating on the court. And Kyle's done that time after time. He's did that for weeks and months of the season, just trying to infuse confidence in guys, get guys going with the understanding that people may translate that at his age, saying, "Oh, has he lost this or that?" Well, whatever the BS that people may say, he's just trying to develop this group, particularly the young guys, where they have a lot more confidence, to be able to be prepared for this time of year. But then he's also proven that when you really need him to be assertive and aggressive, he can also score.
Spo, two things. One on Bam, and just since he hadn't played in a while, how did you kind of manage that today? And then secondly, just his impact defensively, despite not really having a great scoring output today, and just what he brings there.
SHIT about his scoring. Bam is an ultimate winner. And a lot of what you guys are probably going to write about what we can do defensively, he's the one that's driving it. If you don't have a guy like Bam, it's very difficult to do, some of these schemes. And he fully understands that. It's just about getting the win.
Another one on the defense. How much of we've talked about this in the past, but how much of a defensive weapon has Gabe become where you could put him out there to guard a guy like Trey full court and pick him up?
Or guard other guys. Yeah, he's developed this now for 2.5 years, to be that kind of player, impact player, really be a pest defensively, guards multiple positions. I know he doesn't have an inordinate amount of playoff experience, but he's not also 18 years old. He's got a lot of competitive basketball and competitive games, pro games, and 2 years of experience in our system. He's earned these opportunities.
Last question.
Eric, 35 assists on 43 field goals. Do you get a sense during a game that the ball is moving the way you want? Because there have been times this year, maybe in the fourth, where it slowed down a little bit. You didn't have those moments today, but just from beginning to end, it was moving. What did you feel about your players' demeanor?
Yeah, this is something that we've really been working on all year long. And you'll always go through, there's ebbs and flows where it's not going exactly how you wanted to, and we hit that apex of that a month ago. but we had been doing it very well for the majority of the season. Sometimes you need to catch yourself and get back to that. That's the strength of our team, where you're not necessarily sure, where the main weapons are going to come from, but there's a lot of guys on a roster that can hurt you. But there has to be a level of unselfishness to be able to take advantage of all of that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think it was the last one. Was the 4-point play? Either the last one or the next to last one. And you kind of do like the arms out. I mean, you were obviously relishing that moment. Just what did all of that moment and really all of today sort of mean for you after? I mean, what the narratives have been with, you understand. I mean, what was that, like a release moment, or what was that?
To be honest with you, I don't really celebrate a lot when I make threes, so I didn't really know what to do, but I felt like that situation warranted some sort of celebration. So it's kind of like a, what do I do with my hands type moment. But yeah, I don't know. It's this season I've learned a lot of different ways, a lot of different experiences. The beautiful thing about this time of year is like you just gotta lock in on what's in front of you. Everything that was is in the past, and whatever I can do to help us win is what I'm all in for. And whatever that looks like, I'm willing to buy into it, and I am buying into it.
Doug, it's been a while since this fan base has gotten to see you guys win in this building during the playoffs. Just what was it like soaking all of that in?
Oh, it was an incredible atmosphere, which, I certainly wasn't surprised by. I don't think anyone should be surprised. Our fans have been amazing, always have been, outside of maybe showing up a little bit late, but that's kind of what you get in Miami. But yeah, so in that regard, it's always fun to play in front of an environment like that, and especially to get a win and play the way we did.
The goal for you is always to space the floor and obviously hit threes, whether you're starting or not. But what changes most for you when you're coming off the bench? Is it different guys you're playing with, or what would you say is most different for you in this role?
Yeah, there's a little adjustment in who I'm out there with, time of game, that sort of thing. In some respects, it can work as an advantage. I feel like I'm a little bit less prepared for. You can always have those like first couple possessions where, maybe they're not exactly matched up in terms of who's guarding who. So try to take advantage of that when I can. But, in a lot of senses, when I'm on the floor, like my role is what it is, So outside of like time of game when I'm out there and who I'm playing with, that's really the only thing that changes. How I play shouldn't really change.
Duncan, I think it was after your second three, you ended up giving a pump fake. You drove, kicked it out to Jimmy, and ended up in a Kyle three. It kind of sparked the big-time run early. Do you notice kind of the offense half-court changing after maybe you get a quick two, that you have those driving lanes open up? And kind of how does the offense change from there?
Yeah, anytime anybody can hit a couple, we have a bunch of guys that can do it. Obviously, it just creates a little bit more space. And we have a handful of guys that do an incredible job of putting pressure on the rim. So for us to provide some space for those guys, it kind of works hand in hand in that sense. So, if I'm able to hit a couple, obviously, drags a little bit more gravity and that sort of thing. So it helps guys like Jimmy, Bam, Kyle to be the best versions of themselves.
Jimmy, this was a little bit different approach than we saw even in the last game against Trey on Friday night when Caleb was on him a lot. When Kyle went out, you took the secondary assignment when he was out, and of course you guys switched everything. Is this the kind of thing, sort of, when it's the playoffs, give me a little more, load my plate a little more, I want some of that? Was that part of the factor there?
I think so, but it's always all hands on deck. I think that, Kalo gives him a different look, so do I, so does Tuck, so does Bam. We all know he's a hell of a player, and he missed a lot of shots that he normally makes tonight. So we did a good job of making him do that, but we got a long way to go, back to the drawing boards, and figure out how we can do it again.
You mentioned that Trey missed shots he usually makes, but a lot of his shots were jumpers, and he wasn't really getting in the paint much. What did you guys do so well defensively to keep him out of the paint?
Keep him in front. He is constantly breaking down defenses and causing you to help. And if you don't help, it's a layup, it's a floater. If you do help, he's hitting the right guy every single time. I think we did a great job of not fouling and just moving our feet and staying in front.
Jimmy, a lot of you guys were together collecting 14 of the 16 wins that you're aiming for in 2020. How does that inform how you kind of digest a really strong performance in Game 1, knowing that you have more in store that you hope to get to?
Honestly, we don't even think about the past. We just worry about today. We enjoy this win. And then when midnight hits, we forget about this one. And then we get ready for the next one. We get ready to get better come tomorrow. And we're just looking forward, but really, really, really locked in on what we can do right now. And I think we're a different basketball team. I think we got some guys that can really, really play. And we know our goal.
Jimmy, Kyle spoke about kind of the real season and that it's different when you get to this point. The way that Kyle, PJ, you guys collectively as vets kept the group, focused this week and then came out today. Just how was your general feeling about that?
I think everybody was ready to play. We had some fun. It's always fun to win. Never get that wrong. But everybody was talking before the game yesterday, trying to figure out how we can get this one W. We did that, and I'm pretty sure that the same thing's going to happen come tonight and tomorrow. Just focusing on how we can, go up 2-0, but it's going to be a battle, and we got to be ready for that.